Since you'll be tested on the process groups and the knowledge areas, the sixth edition PMBOK guide, you need to expect a 50% of questions to be based on these process groups. In this video, we'll explore the distinction and the interaction between the process groups and the knowledge areas, which are two foundational components of the PMBOK guide. So as we mentioned earlier that the process group represent the stages of the project lifecycle, including the initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and finally closing. And these stages outline the sequence of the actions taken to deliver a project successfully. Knowledge areas, on the other hand, focuses on specific project management expertise such as the scope, schedule, cost, and quality management. And they define the competencies project manager must have to perform the project tasks effectively. So understanding how these two tracks is crucial because process group provide the when and the project management, while the knowledge areas provide the what and how. This alignment ensure a comprehensive approach to manage the projects. Let's now talk more in depth about the process groups. What are the process groups? Process group serves as the high-level phases in any project, representing the logical sequence of project activity. As we mentioned that the key process groups involved at any project involving the initiation, or initiating, or planning, executing, and monitoring and controlling, and finally closing. Let's now understand what exactly is initiating. Initiating is where the project is defined and authorized. The key activities included on the initiating process group, including the defining the project objectives, identifying the stakeholders, and creating a project charter or the project authorization form. The next stage is the planning stage. This stage, it focuses on outlining how to achieve the project objectives. It involves creating a detailed plan for scope, schedule, cost, risk, procurement, and resources. Executing. Executing process group here where the project work is carried out, where you carry out the planned um, planned um, stages when you have identified the planning phase. So the team implements the project plan to produce the deliverables. Next, we have the monitoring and controlling. This group ensures that the project performance aligns with the plan that you have set and comparing it with the execution phase. There are some activities including tracking the progress, managing the changes, and resolving any conflicts or issues. The last stage here we have, or the last process group we have, is the closing. So the final phase where the project is formally completed and deliverables are handed over and the lessons learned are documented. These process groups are iterative and often overlap. Adapting as the project progress is very important so that you deliver a value or you deliver the deliverables holders. Next, let's talk more in depth about the knowledge areas. So, what are exactly our knowledge areas? Knowledge areas represent the domains of expertise required for an effective project management. Each area focuses on a specific aspect of the project, ensuring all dimensions are managed comprehensively. There are 10 knowledge areas in the PMBOK 6th edition, which we are going to cover in detail on the later session. But to summarize these 10 knowledge areas, including the integration management, scope management, schedule management, cost management, quality management, resource management, patient management, risk management, procurement management, and finally, stakeholder management. So each knowledge area applies across different process groups, ensuring that the project goals are met efficiently by utilizing these knowledge areas. Now let's understand the key differences between the process groups and knowledge areas. The primary difference between process groups and knowledge areas lies in their focus. So as we said that the process groups are stages of the project lifecycle, emphasizing the time and sequence. On the other hand, the knowledge area represents the field of expertise, focusing on the content and the task, the how and what. While process groups guide the project flow, knowledge area ensure that all of the critical aspects of the project are addressed and covered. A very important topic that we have to cover here is the interaction between the process groups and knowledge areas. Process groups and knowledge area interact seamlessly to deliver the project outcomes. Each process group encompasses activities from different knowledge areas, creating a matrix of interaction. For instance, during the planning process, you might define the scope management or and let's say estimating the cost or the identifying the cost management and creating a schedule, which is the schedule management. Similarly, during the execution phase, you would manage the resources, and communicate with the stakeholders, and ensure the control. This interplay ensures that all of the aspects of the project are managed in a consensus and coordinated manner, providing a framework for a comprehensive project management. Let's take now practical example on how to apply process groups and knowledge area action. Let's take an example of implementing a marketing campaign. To illustrate the interaction in such a small project, you may think of what are the key process groups and what are the key knowledge areas that we have to use when we implement this marketing campaign for a product launch, for example. So the first process group here we have the initiating. So initiating involves defining the objective. In our case, where we are gonna implement a marketing campaign for a product launch, we may think what are the objective of this project. Let's say that we are trying to increase the product awareness by 20%. So now we have defined the objective of the project and taken an authorization from the stakeholder or the organization. Now we may move to the planning phase. The planning phase where you develop a campaign strategy, which is the scope, and we allocate a budget, which is the cost, and we define the timeline, which is, in our case, is the schedule. So by that, we have identified the key activities in the planning phase. Now let's execute that plan. In the execution phase, we roll out the advertisements or the ads and the social media. We run social media promotions and we do some events. This is where the execution. So we have executed what we have planned so far. Next, we have the monitoring and controlling. Monitor and control your project. We may track the campaign performance against the KPIs which we have set. And also, we may adjust the strategies as needed. By that, we have evaluated our work that we have planned compared to the executed work that we have done. Final stage here we have is the closing. Closing involve evaluating the success and documenting the lessons learned and provide a final report to the stakeholder and the organization. Throughout these phases, knowledge areas like communication, stakeholder engagement, and quality management are actively applied to ensure the success. Let's now talk about the key benefits of understanding the process groups and knowledge area with its interaction. So, understanding the interaction between the process groups and knowledge area equips the project manager with a structured methodology. This clarity help the project manager to plan and execute project with confidence. Also, it addresses the risk proactively and aggressively, as well as it improves the communication and collaboration across different teams. So by integrating these concepts, project managers can ensure that no aspect of the project is overlooked. That leads to higher efficiency and better outcomes. What are the common challenges and misconception when working with process groups and knowledge areas? One of the common challenges is viewing the process groups and knowledge areas as a separate, and in reality, they are interdependent, and failing to recognize this can lead to gaps on project execution. For example, a project manager might focus on completing tasks in the executing phase without addressing the risks that involve within the project management plan. And that leads to a potential issue. Another misconception is process groups follow a linear path. In practice, they are iterative, with activities are often visited and adjusted. Let's now take a practical tips for applying the process groups and knowledge areas. To effectively apply the process groups and knowledge area in your projects, start by breaking the project into smaller and manageable phases. And this allows you to focus on a specific process group and corresponding knowledge area at that stage need. The next step here is you have to align your activities with the project framework. For example, during initiation, focus on the stakeholder identification and alignment, the project scope and objectives. During the planning phase, where you integrate the scope, schedule, cost, and risk management activities for a holistic approach. Finally, leverage tools like project management software and standardized templates to ensure the consistency and improve the communication across the teams. These tools can help track the progress and allocate resources efficiently and monitor the risk effectively. To summarize our session, we have talked about the process groups and knowledge area, which serves the backbone of the project management. Process groups provide a timeline for when activities occur, from initiating to closing, ensuring that the project progress systematically. On the other hand, we say that the knowledge area outlines the key components of project management, such as scope, cost, quality, resources, and these areas ensures that all of the dimensions of the project are addressed. Together, these frameworks provide a comprehensive approach to manage the project effectively, ensuring goals are met within scope, budget, and time constraints.